children from fatherless homes in this country, 5 times more likely to commit suicide than children who have a father in the home. 32 times more likely to run away. 20 times more likely to have a behavioral disorder. 14 times more likely to become sexually aggressive or commit rape. 10 times more likely to engage in drug abuse. It just breaks my heart. No heat, no judgment.
A woman will open up and say, you know what, not having my father really is a problem, really is an issue. And I wish we could get more black women to just point out, wait a minute, it's not cool that your kids don't have that father. It's not it's not cool that you didn't grow up with yours. It's not, I don't need no man. It's not, fathers don't matter. It's not, niggas ain't shit. It's actually, we as a people, we as a culture, we as a community have to deal with each other. And in dealing with each other, if we're creating children, if we're having little innocent beings who only thing they know about themselves is what we present about ourselves. I don't know if that makes any sense to any of you guys. If you are a Jew and you know that you must be a doctor, a lawyer, or something like that, that matters. Your goal is higher. What you want to be in life is exalted. But if you think about what happens with us as black men, our goal in life is where? What do we have to look up to? Who do we have to look up to? Was our fathers impressive? Was our grandfathers impressive? It doesn't even matter what you say sometimes to your children. It's what you do. It's what you have. It's the presence you command. It's the maturity of how you deal with each other and deal with other people. And that's the biggest thing we need in the black community. Where does that start? To me, it's with fathers. If your man is confident, your man is proud. When your man is proud, he loves what he has. He protects what he has when he has these situations. And that's when you, as a woman, as a man, as a family, as a community, that's when we'll be better. When we actually care about each other. It starts with the fathers. It starts with the relationship and the children.
Oh, yeah. Good morning, America. It's a Monday. How are you? Welcome to the Nick Paolo Show. Of course, that was the great Tommy Sotomayor with his film, A Fatherless America. We're going to have him on at the bottom of the hour, 11:30 a.m., and really like that guy. Asking all the hard questions, taking a lot of heat. That's a man's man, and look forward to talking to him. This episode of the Nick DiPaolo broadcast brought to you by BlueChew.com. Guys, let's talk about sex, good sex. Remember the days when you were always ready to go? But like all things, age catches up and can impact your performance. But thanks to our sponsor, BlueChew.com, you can increase your performance and get some extra firepower in bed for free with promo code NICK. BlueChew.com, that's blue like the color blue. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know they work. You can take them at any time, which is great, day or night, even on a full stomach. And since they're chewable, they work up to twice as fast as a pill. So you can be ready whenever the opportunity arises, if you're going to get in a fight with a bull, apparently. Now, this isn't just for guys who can't perform, and I'm not talking comedy. I'm talking in the sack. It's for any guy who wants extra function to enhance their performance in the bedroom. No more one and done. Get ready for round 2 with some help from Blue Chew. Blue Chew is prescribed online. Here's the great part. It's shipped straight to your door in a discreet package, so no in-person doctor's visits, which can be embarrassing, no waiting in the pharmacy, and the best of all, no more awkwardness. They're made right here in the good old USA, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they're cheaper than any pharmacy, which is great. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free when you use the special promo code NICK. Just pay $5 shipping. Free, okay? Unbelievable. Again, that's Blue, B-L-U-E, Chew.com. Promo code NICK to try it for free. We thank BlueChew.com for sponsoring this episode of the Nick DiPaolo Show. Shout out real quick, Joseph Ryan Houghton. Thank you so much. Signed up at the veto level. The veto level, Rich. The veto level. So anyways, go to nickdip.com to contribute and sign up on Patreon. Thank you so much, Joe. We appreciate that very much. We do. We're coming to you live as usual on a Monday. Facebook.
We'll do it live. Okay.
YouTube.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Oh, yeah, baby. Get crazy with them. Get crazy.
You know you want crazy motherfucking walk, man.
Oh, please. Get off my back.
Run through a motherfucker face.
Yeah, baby. This was breaking news real quick before we came on the air. 7 Democrat senators have said they regret calling on former Minnesota Senator Al Franken to resign over his accusations of sexual harassment. Well, that's tough shit.
And you blew it! You blew it.
In a New York story in the New Yorker, investigator reporter Jane Mayer found a number of holes that Al was trying to plug while he was on the U.S. No! Gilligan! Number of holes in the story of Franken's primary accuser. I just read this article. I can't really find the holes. In November 2017, a conservative talk radio station released a photo of Franken pantomiming grabbing radio host Leanne Tweeden's breasts while on a 2006 USO tour. That was followed by 7 additional allegations of groping or unwanted kisses, eventually leading to 36 Democrat senators calling for him to step down, despite the fact that both Franken and Tweeden were calling for an independent investigation. Yeah, see, they're having regrets now because Kavanaugh got away with it and everything else, okay? A picture's worth 2 tits and 1,000 words. It's right in front of you, goddammit. So what has changed? That's inappropriate behavior. It's like Joe Biden on the USO tour. Only he would have sniffed her hair and done something silly like that. But I don't understand what you're regretting, okay? He's gone, thank Christ.
Bye-bye.
When Mayer asked Franken if he regretted resigning, he replied, oh, yeah, absolutely. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand of New York has faced much of the blame. Libs eating libs. She's a fucking staunch, feminist and man-hater. She faced much of the blame for donors for being one of the first Democrats to call for him to step down. Franken criticized Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, libs eating libs, for not insisting to his caucus that an investigation was underway and that due process required facts before. There's the facts right in front of you. Look, the leader's called the leader for a reason, Franken said. Schumer said, yeah, and pervert's called a pervert, and that's what I'm doing. Go back to fucking Minnesota and get a room with Tlaib. Franken resigned 3 weeks after the allegations first arose and was replaced by Democrat Tina Smith, who won a re-election. According to Mayer's story, parts of Tweeden's accusations don't hold up. Tweeden asserted that Franken wrote a skit expressly to allow him to kiss her, saying that the future senator said, when I found out you were coming on this tour, I wrote a little scene, if you will, with you in it. But Mayer found that exact skit was performed on previous USO tours, and 2 actresses who had previously performed it with Franken said they had done the same scene without incident. Well, that's just stupid.
No, they're ignorant. That's ignorant.
So what? Times have changed. Just like when you say with Joe Biden being inappropriate. Times have changed since then. Just because those 2 chicks didn't have a problem doesn't mean it was right. Maybe Tweeden's the only one that had any balls to stand up. And again, after Kavanaugh and Harvey Weinstein, whole different environment. Whole different. You guys, you like to progress, evolve on issues. So I'm still looking for the hole. While a number of Franken staffers and former Saturday Night Live... Oh, hold on. Tweeden also alleged that Franken had an Army photographer take a photo of him mock groping her while she slept on the plane. And it had included on and had included it on just her CD images of the trip. According to Mayer's reporting, others on the trip also received a CD with that photo on it. So, well, am I missing something? Well, a number of Franken staffers and former SNL colleagues told Mayer they had not seen him act inappropriately with women. There were 7, that's right, 7 additional allegations, 2 unnamed, of groping or unwanted kissing. So Gillibrand's taken the heat for this because she's the most outspoken. And she said, I'd do it again today. If a few wealthy donors are angry about that, it's on them. I hate to side with Kirsten Gillibrand because she's the biggest phony and most transparent idiot out there. But she's right on this one. I mean, what has changed? Where are the holes in the story? You told us about the picture. It's on a CD. And because 2 other actresses didn't have a problem with it? Where are you feminists? Anyways, please, Minnesota, stop voting. Between perverts and terrorists, you're weakening the nation. But I don't see how this changes anything. And Al Franken, I got to say this. I used to love him when he came on Letterman. Again, I'm a righty. I can laugh at lefties who disagree with me politically. I always laughed at how mean he was and how much he hated people on the right. And he is a funny dude, in my opinion. A lot of people don't get that. But like I said, I put politics aside. But he got his just desserts, which is whipped cream on somebody's tits while they're sleeping. Yummy, yummy. All right, that's all I get to say about that. You're not coming back, okay? You have to evolve with the issues. So let's stay on perverted politicians, shall we? I'm getting a little bit of a buzz in the back, Jace. You hearing it? No?
Not coming through on our end.
Well, good. That's all that's important. It's true. Anyways, Joe Biden at it again. This guy is just one horny old man. Got plugs in his head, fucking false teeth. Doesn't know where he is. Trump's going to have to change his name. Anyways, all he had to do was not kiss girls, remember? And I ask the question every time he has a press conference, why there's half the crowd is 12-year-old girls. People are still bringing their kids to his. But this was his niece. This is incestuous. I've been trying to defend him for a long time, you know, because people, they're very touchy at his age. That's how a lot of people are. But this one was tough for me to, here's the video of him and his niece. He's giving a speech somewhere. I saw a little tongue. Rewind that. She seems eager, almost like they have a history. Let it play, Jake. This is, my first take was he does not want to be president. After being one, I'm surprised he didn't say right after it, this is a big fucking deal, you know, to his niece. If you like your niece, you can kiss your niece. If you like the doctor, you can keep your doctor. But I don't know about Biden. I can't defend him on this one, on the lips.
That boy is a P.I.G. pig.
I don't know. I'm Italian. I was reading a lot of comments after. We didn't pull the tweet up for this one, did we? We don't have that one. That's all right. You don't have it, do you, what I tweeted?
I can get it. It'll just take a second.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. I'll just say what I did. But I was reading the comments, and a lot of people said, you know, family members do this. A lot of European, Italians. One person said, I'm Italian. We always, that's not too strange for Italian family. But then there was another guy going, I'm Italian. I've never kissed my relatives on the lips unless they had big tits. I'm Italian. I'm half Italian. We never kissed each other on the lips. But in full disclosure, I did give one of my uncles a hand job after he bought me a popsicle. Can you imagine being Biden's handlers when they saw this?
So that was Biden's granddaughter, not his niece.
Oh, granddaughter, even creepier. Yeah, that makes sense, because if it was a niece, she'd be like fucking 76, because he's 111. Granddaughter. Yeah, a lot of people going off. I've been trying to defend the guy. This one's tough. Let's take a look at the videotape one more time. Can we? Here we go. Look at her. Whoa! She kind of looked up and went, oh, God, no. Was there any tongue there? I don't see. Corner of the mouth. I don't know, guys. I don't know what to make of it. What is he thinking? What is he thinking? Go ahead, Rich.
I'm going to give him a pass because she's kind of attractive.
Oh, is that right? So if it was his daughter and she was attractive, he could fuck her?
If she was gross, it's off limits.
Oh, but you can fucking fuck your relative if she's cute? Where you from, Tennessee?
Well, I don't have a granddaughter.
Again, irrelevant. You argue like my wife. No fucking logic, no reason. You change the fucking discussion right in the middle of it. Help me, Richard. Help me understand you. Help me help you, you big dink. Well, you know, my niece has a nice ass, so I should be able to finger pop her after we finish the turkey on Thanksgiving. What's the matter with you? This is a big fucking deal. I don't know. Again, because of the hypocrisy, but they were up in arms right after this came out. I really don't think he wants to be president. I'm surprised he didn't try to grab some tit. That would have done it. But then again, after doing the Al Franken story, they'd be like, oh, big deal, you know, that's how they do it. You know, whatever. He's finished anyways, by the way. Like Trump says, he has the energy of a cancer patient. Okay, he makes Jeb Bush look like a goddamn meth addict. I have the same energy as Joe Biden. And I remember when Trump was running, he'd go, low energy, I'd be laying on the couch. And I kept thinking he was talking about me. Laying there with a box of Triscuits, fucking eyes half open. Anyways, the Dems are all over the news today. This surfaced over the weekend. This might be my favorite. You know our girl Rashid Tlaib, who sounds like, no, she's not a wide receiver for the Vikings. She's a hateful broad from Detroit who doesn't care for this country. And some footage was released over the weekend of her before she was a politician at a Trump, not a rally, but he was giving a speech, video from 2016. She was a private citizen back then. Rashida Tlaib exploding at an economic speech of then-candidate Donald Trump resurfaced and led to widespread mockery of the far-left Democrat lawmaker. The incident happened on August 8, 2016, as Trump outlined his economic policy in a speech at the Detroit Economic Club. And video of the incident spread like wildfire over the weekend on Twitter, with many prominent accounts commenting on it publicly and mocking her for her meltdown. Here she is.
I will say that the Bernie Sanders people
You guys are crazy!
You're an animal. Get a job.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
You people are crazy. She had quite a rack on her. I'm going to give her some slack. See the jugs on it? She jumped up and down, I swear to God, just to do that. She's that fucking nuts.
You're crazy!
I'm not crazy. I just don't give a fuck.
Broad is fucking nuts. I like big tits. Anyways, in the video clip that was widely circulated, Tlaib can be seen screaming at everyone in attendance that they're crazy. An audience member who recorded the incident yelled back at her, "You're an animal, get a job." Who was it, Jake LaMotta in the Raging Bull? Hey, Larry, who's it? Your mother's an animal. So Trump handled it pretty well. This is how Trump handled it. Watch. Look at the bags on her. Fun bags. Bags of fun.
Ownership is at its lowest rate in 51 years.
Durka Durka, Muhammad Jihad, Haka Sherpa Sherpa, Bakala.
Look, Trump didn't do anything. Look at her. You voted for her.
Hates Jews.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I will
Hates
say
Jews.
the Bernie Sanders
Hates Jews.
people had far more
Hates
energy and
Jews.
spirit. I
Hates
will
Jews.
say.
I fucking love
Durka
it.
Durka, Muhammad Jihad, Haka Sherpa Sherpa, Bakala.
Hates Jews. Hates Jews.
She sure does. And Trump, how did he handle it? Beautifully. She looks like an... How did she get elected? Please, somebody explain it. This is where I'm so cynical. I actually believe your votes don't count. Somebody put her in there. From Detroit. I understand why you vote in somebody from Detroit, because they have run that city like a Swiss watch for the last 50 years. Only city you can walk by a Quiznos on Tuesday at noontime and it's boarded up. You ever have a Quiznos sandwich? I'd fuck it. They're so delicious. Out of business. But I love it. She was physically removed, and Donald Trump Jr. weighed in on the video, writing on Twitter, crooked called us, he's talking about Hillary, called us deplorables. Tlaib calls us crazy. In reality, we just love our country, want every American, no matter their race, religion, or socioeconomic status, to have a safe and prosperous life and expect our leaders to put America first. And I believe that. Sorry. I do. She hates this thing. And remember, Trump, Kushner is Jewish, and they converted, right? The wife, his daughter and stuff. So, Rich, you're an anti-Semite. Weigh in on this.
I'm all for, I think Tlaib has some issues just because she's from Detroit, and I think that's where it's just lashing out, because she just knows that Detroit's screwed in her eyes, so the country's screwed in her eyes.
All right. So sorry I asked for that opinion. What the fuck? What are you babbling about? That was the worst explanation of that clip I have ever seen. Well, because she's from Detroit, she doesn't like America. Makes sense, actually, because Detroit is like little Mogadishu. That's actually Minneapolis. Stop voting in these friggin' nutcases. I said Minneapolis, but she's not. She's a Detroit.
Yeah.
Well, correct me when I fuck up, Jason. I can't entertain and educate. But Omar is from Minneapolis. Excuse me. So I just caught myself. My skin looks horrible. Look at this. I have a map of where she's from, actually, Omar. She grew up right here in Somalia, the southern tip of my fucking age spot. I'm going to look like a fucking 3-week-old banana in another year. So just a fucking old wrinkled prick. Hey, my favorite, my favorite, Bernie Sanders is in the news. The minimum wage. I mean, everybody's at poverty level. And he's in the news. Bernie Sanders, Democrat President Sanders, announced this week, and he will cut staffers. He's going to cut their hours so they can effectively be paid a $15 an hour minimum wage. Oh, he's finally learning something about how business works. Prompting mockery from critics who say the move is more evidence he's a crazy communist Jew bastard. Who said that? That Sanders' plans to raise the national minimum wage is hypocritical and would only lead to less work and more unemployment. Exactly right.
You fucking hypocrite.
He's getting his first lesson in the economics. The Washington Post first reported last Thursday that Sanders' field staffers were upset that Sanders championed a $15 minimum wage on the campaign trail and made headlines for railing against major corporations who pay starvation wages, even as his own employees made poverty wages. The self-described socialist candidate said junior field organizers earn roughly $36,000 per year in salary. And again, this is grunt work, folks, okay? Somebody get Bernie a bran muffin. It's grunt work, and they do work long fucking hours and stuff. So you don't go to a work for a campaign thinking you're going to make $28 an hour, but he can't be out there, the guy that you're helping, screaming that and then paying you. I mean, it really is hypocritical on its face. He says they get $36,000 a year in salary with employer-paid health care and sick leave. Okay, but what happens when the campaign's over? You don't keep then. What do you got to do? Shop for Obamacare on the market? Oh, my forehead. I need an eye doctor. But he acknowledged that their salary can effectively dip below $15 an hour because he's got them working like Kathy Lee Gifford making sneakers in her basement. If staffers work much more than 40 hours per week, which is common on presidential campaigns, you're goddamn right it is. I mean, come on.
It seems foolish to have all this money lying around.
Oh, you'd rather have it down at the bank where the Jewish guys can leer at it?
Oh, my. The solution is to limit the number of hours staffers work to 42 or 43 each week to ensure they're making the equivalent of $15 an hour, he told the registers. So you see what business people go to when you put out this shit? Do you understand, Bernie? Where they have to actually cut people and business slows down. Do you get it now? Democratic socialist, which is no such thing. Anyways, he went on to say that the union contract not only provides pay of at least $15 an hour, he, unionized his workers. It also provides, I think, the best healthcare benefits that any employer can provide. All for our field organizers, even though I'll be knocked out of the race in another 3 weeks, and they'll have nothing. But that's not what it's about. He says it does bother me that people are going outside of the process or going to the media. That is really not acceptable. It is really not what labor negotiations are about, and it's improper. But you don't mind when they were leaking shit and going to the media during the whole fucking Russia hoax when Comey was spilling shit through his friend at Columbia. You had no problem. You hypocrites! How many times I got to say it? So Bernie, Economics 101. Stephen Miller got all over him. People were getting all over him. Why won't millionaire Bernie Sanders, who owns 3 homes, instead of cutting hours, pay his staff a living wage? People are starving. He's got 3 houses. Texas, and I don't begrudge him that, folks. I'm just saying. I'm happy for him. Guy worked hard. He sells books. He's a smart dude. It's a free market, but he can't be out there badmouthing the same market that gave him 3 homes. It's irony. It's at a base level. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy Jew. What? Stephen Miller. Texas Republican Dan Crenshaw, he's the guy that Pete Davidson had a run-in with a patch on his eye. Lambasted campaign. He says, so does this fall under the category of hypocrisy, irony, or poetic justice? He says, all 3? You can't make this stuff up. Anyways, Aaron Colin on the Blaze. Companies don't just suddenly get more money to pay employees. They have to make tough decisions, usually either cutting hours or worse, cutting staff. That's exactly right, okay? The development come days after the nonpartisan Congressional Budget, CBO, Budget Office, concluded that a proposed $15 federal minimum wage could result in 3.7 million people becoming unemployed. So, Bernie, what do you get to say about that? That's got to hurt. That has to hurt. Anyways, I'm glad he was called out. Bad weekend for the Dems, between Tlaib being a psychotic and Bernie being a hypocrite. You know what I mean?
Give me the money, you understand? Give me the fucking money, you hear me? You hear me? I gotta come here and bust my balls. Give me the fucking money.
All right. Anyways, I mentioned earlier in the show, our guest today is, I really respect this guy because he's out there asking the tough questions, and he's got a film out called A Fatherless America. He's a YouTube personality, political commentator. They call him controversial. Any black guy that doesn't lean left and stay on the Democrat plantation is controversial, when to me he makes perfect sense. Please welcome the great Tommy Sotomayor. Tommy, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
What's up? Thank you for doing this, man.
Oh, no problem. It's a pleasure.
I see you, on social media, and I'm like, the guy makes so much sense. What is so controversial? Let me ask you this right up front, because that's how I am. I'm like you. How tough is it to be black and have your point of view? On politics in general. I mean, do you take a lot of heat?
Yeah, and it's very difficult. I try to equate it to, a lot of people say, well, you're black and you're not supposed to say things about blacks and you're not supposed to put other blacks down. And I'm thinking, well, I don't think this is a secret because I'm taking things from the news. I'm taking actual statistics. And if we believe that blacks should hide everything that blacks do and stick up for all blacks, then there would have never been a civil war. We would have never ended Jim Crow. Think about all the times in which whites have disagreed with whites. Hell, I'm listening to you talk about Bernie Sanders right now. So the thought process that black people are supposed to uniformly agree with each other, especially when something's wrong, I think that's sad. And looking at it, like the moniker Mr. Controversy, I got it from telling the truth. I didn't give myself that name. They kept saying, well, your views are controversial. I was like, so the truth is controversial.
I was just going to say that. That's the point. The times we live in. I have this friend, he passed away. He owned the Comedy Cellar in New York City. And his name was Menachem Dworman. And very smart guy. He taught politics in Israel. And he owned the Comedy Club. He's a brilliant businessman. And I was talking to him one night, and he said back in the 60s and 70s, they called me a liberal. And then this was probably in the early 2000s. He said, He says, now they call me conservative, but my political views have not changed. You know what I mean? Which is a great point. Though I think you make a great point. In 2019, the truth is controversial. I think there's two types of people in this world, at least in our country. You got honest people and the people who are politically correct.
Yeah.
Don't you feel that way?
Politically correct people get on my nerves because what they're doing is saying, blow smoke up their behinds until they feel better about themselves. And there's one group in America that we don't blow smoke in their behinds, though. That is conservative, white, heterosexual males.
Yes.
Those guys, well, you can go on and rail against them. You can make movies making fun of them. You can do all kinds of stuff. And there's no group that stands up and says, hey, don't body shame a fat man. Don't body shame a man who's losing his hair. Don't body shame a man who doesn't make six figures. Don't body shame a man who doesn't who's not 6 feet tall. No, that guy can get anything that you want. But we got to make sure that fat women feel pretty. We got to make sure that gay men feel beautiful and transsexual men feel attractive to heterosexual men. Like it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. And this is a society that we live in today.
That's exactly right. We're talking to the great Tommy Sotomayor. I said that. Political. I laugh when I see comedians, whether they're black or brown or gay comics and stuff, complaining about political correctness ruining comedy. And I go, it was created for you to shut up guys like me. They don't even get that. I've never seen like a black comic get in trouble for making fun of white people, or a gay comic getting in trouble for making straight people making fun of straight people. It's a really weird environment right now. So you and I are trying to keep the truth alive, and you know, you get labeled as controversial.
Well, I get labeled more than that, though. I've gotten
You've
called,
been getting in trouble. What do you get called?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I've been getting flagged. I've been getting called coon, sellout. I got kicked off of Twitter. I've had huge channels knocked down off of YouTube. Every day I have people stalking my family, stalking my children.
Are you kidding?
Anything that they can.
Seriously, your family gets stalked over this?
Yeah. They put out my mother's address, her church address. They put out my daughter's school address.
God. Are these white liberals, or are they black people, or both? Probably white libs, I'm guessing.
No, it's all black people. That's why I told them. I said, I wake up every day and you want to tell me how horrible white people are. But then I'm not afraid that some white guy's going to come up to my door and break in and shoot me. I'm afraid of one of the guys who keeps threatening me all the time. I went to an event in New York. I'm invited by the black people to come there and speak to the black people. And when I get there, I get punched in the back of the head by one guy. And when we reviewed the videotape, another guy's behind me with a knife.
And this was where?
This was in Harlem.
And Harlem, folks, isn't even that black anymore. I mean, you know, I lived in New York.
You go to 125th.
Up there, yes. When I first, well, I mean, compared to the 70s, people would be afraid to wander. But I used to do a joke when I first moved to New York. I go, people are complaining about the rent. I was looking at rent apartments up in Harlem because Giuliani had just like helped gentrify it and stuff. And I said, people are complaining how expensive it is. I said, I'm paying $850 a month. I said, of course, I live on the corner of Fight the Power and Die Whitey Avenue, but it's a nice building. And I can't. A guy pulls a knife.
Yep.
So you're literally putting your neck on the line.
Yeah. I just bought a house here in Atlanta about a couple of months ago, and within 2 weeks they had released the address.
Who's they, Tommy? Who's they? Just random people on Twitter?
No, there's a bunch of black people on YouTube. Apparently, YouTube allows it to happen, but all the things that's been happening to me for years, had I been a transsexual woman, as they call it, which I still don't understand that. But if I'd been a transsexual woman, they'd have shut that down. Had I been a white liberal woman, they would have shut that down immediately. You can't just sit around and threaten someone as much as they've threatened me. But the police won't do anything. Nobody will do anything. So they wake up every day. They make YouTube videos. They even put their faces in it. And nothing's still done. As one guy, someone counted, has made 73 videos about me in 2.5 months.
And that would be Elijah Cummings, folks. Is that? You know, honestly, I look at like Clarence Thomas and other black conservatives. I go, what a burden. I mean,
yep.
And it's like, talk about taking courage. Now, have they booted you? Are you still on YouTube? and all that?
In a minimum fashion, but I'm still on YouTube, and some you can look up my name, but you'll probably find other people's stuff before you find mine. It's best to just go to my website at TommySotomayor.com. That's where I just started putting everything down, because they flagged everything down. They made it to where even when I use my own name, it'll come up as confirmed as, it doesn't matter what I'm talking about. I could be talking about rainbows and sunshine. If I put my own name in the title, it will show up as confirmed as not, whatever that thing is not suitable for the general audience.
Censorship alive and well for guys like us in 2019. Let's talk about your movie, A Fatherless America. We played the trailer at the beginning, and I thought you hit it right on the head, because when I talk about this, I always preface it by saying it's not necessarily about race, it's about culture. A lot of it's about culture. And I'm sure you're aware of back in the 60s, Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan. Yeah, put out a report about what you're talking about today. And how, you know, Jim Crow and all that, yes, and slavery set black people back and stuff. But he's saying that having single moms raising their kids is a future, you know, there's going to be disaster in the future. And he wrote that in the 60s, and you're talking about exactly what he's talking about. Today you're talking about it.
And you know what's the really horrible part about this is, like you said, this isn't something that people didn't see coming. It's the equivalent of standing here and there's a Zamboni coming towards you, and you're just standing there going, ah, and the Zamboni is a mile away, and you're just going, ah.
First of all, you're going to catch shit for doing a hockey reference because you're black. A Zamboni running you over. But you're right. We could see it coming a mile of Patrick Daniel Moynihan. And he was for a lot of these social programs to help black people, which I understand. But you're also known as a men's rights activist, which I've been accused of. They call me a misogynist pig. But, yeah, I mean, you defend men. And in this day and age, you have to. I mean,
the strangest thing, defend the group of people who do the most work. Defend the people who 93% of all workplace injuries and deaths, that's them. Defend the people who make the majority of the money that comes into the country. How dare you do something like that? It's strange how men are looked at as just these mules, and they're trying to turn us into eunuchs. At this point in time, men are fighting men, which I've never understood those feminist males. Those guys are just...
They're trying to get laid.
Right.
And I don't know why. Have you ever seen a good-looking feminist? I've never met a stripper who's a feminist.
That is true. Well, you can always find some former strippers, though.
Yeah, when they hit their, that's a great point. When they hit their 40s and their ass looks like a bag of cottage cheese, all of a sudden they're big fucking feminists. That's actually a great point.
The wall is undefeated.
But
that's all we know.
The emasculation on I've been pointing this out forever. I was on Opie and Anthony 20 years ago, and I pointed out how white guys are portrayed in commercials, white dads. This was 20-something years ago. But now it's so bad, they do it with black guys, you know, pushing. It's across the board. There really is. You keep hearing about a war on women. I mean, they're giving little boys, you know, Adderall to calm them down and drugging little kids to. They really are trying to, like you said, cut our dicks off, it seems like.
Yeah, it's not a war on women. It's a jihad on men. And if you think about the stuff that they're doing, when you watch these men get raped in divorce court, you see them get destroyed when it comes to them being able to see their children. How do you live with your kid every day and then you go through a divorce, which men need to understand? Women are the main ones who tell you they want to get married. If you're dating a woman for a certain amount of time, she'll start saying, well, we should get married, blah, blah. You marry that woman, but the stats show that 70% of all marriages end because of the person who asked you to get into it, the woman. So she walks away with something. I've never left a company, and that company had to compensate me at the way that I was living while I worked at that company. The benefits was working at that company, and when I left that company, I left with what I came with. We don't do marriages like that. Now we have it to where a woman can date a guy, and if he doesn't marry her, she can now sue him saying that she thought he was going to marry her. And these are things that men in power are allowing to happen too. So we need to talk about those guys. And those are the things I wanted to bring out in A Fatherless America.
That's exactly right. I mean, it's men acquiescing to this crap. And it's time to stop. I mean, I read stories where one guy, a paternity suit against him, They do a test. It wasn't even his kid, yet he still has to pay.
Yep.
But you know, child support, and it wasn't
Yep.
even his kid. That's when I said, "You have to be shitting me."
I had a guy come on to my show. He had been married to a woman. They had 5 children. One of his children needed a kidney transplant. He went in to see if he was a viable candidate for the kid. They found out not only was he not a viable candidate for the kid, that the kid wasn't his, and 3 of the 5 kids that he had raised and paid for were not his. He had 2 left that were still underage. 2 of those were not his. But the law stated that he was forced to continue to pay child support for them simply because he married the mother.
What do we do? I notice this too. Like, they never call out black women for, you know, having the kid. Again, I guess the government sends them a check if they don't have a dad in the house or whatever. But it's ultimately it's their responsibility not to get pregnant by you know, some fucking unknown rapper or whatever. You know, unknown rapper.
He rap. You know, you're right. Some unknown guy who's selling his CDs on the streets. He kind of work at UPS, but he kind of don't. You know, that guy. That guy is the guy who got all the children. He can get everybody pregnant. They love that guy. And I was talking about this last night. I'm not playing with you. There's a woman who's 24 years old, black woman, has 6 children, all under the age of 6, none with the same father.
Wow. Who was oh my God. Who was
they did a GoFundMe for this girl because she needed a bigger car. They showed her on a video taking some of her smallest children, like 2 years old, sticking them in the back of a Ford Edge because she was saying she doesn't have enough room for them. Oh. So they were showing how she drives with them in the back, and they were reaching up for her as she closes the hatchback. She's yelling at them, "Move your hand!" Then they show, but we came in, and it's the white liberals' fault. Yeah. But we came in and we bought her a truck. So they buy her something free. And I'm like, okay, if she couldn't afford a truck, she's not going to be able to maintain this truck. So they had another GoFundMe, which said, let's help her maintain her entire life. So she gets to have children, and then they step in and help maintain her entire life. You've never seen a man who they put in jail because he couldn't afford to take care of the kids he had, the child support. You've never seen them do a GoFundMe to help this guy just pay his child support. Right. Think about that. That's never happened.
How much of it, I mean, like I said, it's ultimately their responsibility not to get, but how much, and then people point fingers at young black guys saying they don't want to be around to raise the kids and stuff. Is some of it on that? Again, this is culture we're talking about. So,
well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
If you live in a sexualized Cardi B culture where just go out and screw anybody you want.
Right.
You're saying that guy doesn't want to be around. What do you mean? That would be like if I hired a guy in a wheelchair to build my steps. Well, I mean, you could, but somebody would say to you at that moment, you probably should. That would be a difficult process for that guy to do. So the guy with no job who lives on your couch, if you lay down and get pregnant by him, what were you expecting him to do? As a matter of fact, during the process in which he got you pregnant, you knew he didn't have a job and you needed no money from him. But now that he's gotten a baby with you and maybe he cheated on you or he moved out, now you're asking a guy who had no money in the first place for child support. Now you're asking a guy who you slept with one night after the club and you don't even know his name. You know his name is Main, Triggerfinger, or whatever that's his name. You don't even know. You go in the court and they going to look for Main and Triggerfinger and Dorsale. That's who they going to look up. So you don't even know his last name. You don't know his first name, but you got pregnant by him. So this can't be blamed on the men at that point because that guy was just trying to have sex. This woman had ultimate responsibility because the next day she can take a morning after pill up to the way the liberals have it, up to 9 months. You can have an abortion. Right. Even after that, you can drop the baby off at the local Piggly Wiggly, the gas station, with no penalty. But if you decide to carry it to term and keep it, now that guy's being held legally responsible. That makes no sense to me.
They're afraid to point it out because it's black women. They're like immune to any criticism. It really is. Finally, real quickly, final question. So what's the solution, Tommy, to changing the culture and the illegitimacy rate? You know, and not just the black community. high in the white community as opposed to 25 years ago. But but specifically in the black community, what's the solution?
How about we start having just something as simple as personal responsibility? We can look at what the laws in the United States right now about how the women are having those anchor babies. They understand the laws say if you come over here and you have a baby in the United States, you get to stay with that baby because that baby is a citizen. So these people would swim across the Rio Grande, or in some cases just walk right on across it. Yeah. But you can come right over here, and if you understand the rules, people use the rules. Well, how about the rules say personal responsibility? If we help you get some money from the state for one child. If you have a second child while you're already getting money from the state, we cut off all money. That then woman would understand, hey, I might not want to do this. Number two, why don't we start helping people who did things the right way? Do you know that there are families out here right now with 3 children who they got married and they've been together, dad loses job, but we don't come in and try to help them. But we'll help the woman who has 15 children by 17 men. Yeah. Yes, go ahead and see how that actually can happen. But anyway, you see this woman and she's got all these children and we benefit her. Why don't we start benefiting families, people who've done it the right way? And that way it would encourage more people to do it the right way. Because right now, the way the laws are set up and the benefit package are set up, we're benefiting people who do things the wrong way.
Yeah. Once again, it's about holding people accountable. Yep. Hey, Tommy, I appreciate you doing this, man. Much respect. Keep up the good fight and watch your back. I can't believe people trying to stab you for crying out loud.
No problem. And make sure they go to fatherlessamerica.com and buy the movie, pick up the movie. It is a great movie on Amazon. It's got a rating of 8.6 out of 10. And on IMDb, it's 8.7 out of 10.
There you go. The great Tommy Sotomayor. Thanks, Tommy. Hopefully we'll talk again. Appreciate it, man.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, Tom. Really, again, and that was the biggest takeaway was, doing the right thing, and the truth has become controversial. And it takes a lot of, whether it's Condoleezza Rice, Clarence Thomas, to be a black conservative, and not even conservative. I mean, I don't know how conservative. There are a lot of black people, like where I lived, that are conservative. And the problems we're talking about, a lot of it's, inner city, but something has to change. Like I said, Daniel Patrick Moynihan wrote a report on it in 1965 while he was working with LBJ that far back. And we're still talking about what he saw this coming. And he thought the answers were, and they, look, government, there is some role. I mean, I remember Chris Rock when I worked for him, and I was making fun of government cheese or whatever. And he went, hey, motherfucker, I grew up on that. And it kind of dawned on me, you know what I mean? But it's to the point now, like Tommy said, we're rewarding people for irresponsible behavior. But, it's tough because he steps off, as they call the Democrat plantation. You get people actually trying to kill him and stalk his family. Just unbelievable to me. Anyways, let's lighten it up, shall we? Here's my favorite story of the day. I can't even fucking say. An award-winning lamb. we go from illegitimacy to award-winning lamb. Currently under investigation and may be stripped of its title after veterinarians at the Logan County Fair in Ohio found illegal drugs in its system. They knew something was up when it had a 68-inch vertical leap and it could dunk behind its. It ran a 3.240. Performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs, have transcended from sport to livestock, as the grand champion lamb was given a performance-enhancing diuretic, which is banned from competition because it makes the animal's muscles feel leaner. The Ohio Department of Agriculture is spearheading the investigation into the lamb PDEU. They have like beauty contests for lambs, and they're like, look, this thing is ripped. Did you see it in the evening gown competition? Had a back on him like Schwarzenegger. Although it doesn't seem to be as rampant as steroid use in baseball during the 90s. Anyways, it's not clear what will happen to the owner after the investigation is complete. And here's one of the lamb's good friends that when he found out, I guess he might have given him the... Oh, my God. What happened to... Lambs hang out with goats when you can't find the lamb video. And then another friend of his, really, apparently he did not like this fucking lamb when he found out. The Grand Champion lamb was reportedly shown by a young 4-H member between July 7 and 13. Good things we're concentrating on the big problems in the country. When it tested positive for illegal drugs, a problem with diuretics as well. They give the lamb an unfair advantage. They also contaminate the meat. Didn't you have lamb chops in your fridge, Rich, when I was at your apartment?
For like a week.
For like a week. I looked and I said, oh my God, I love lamb chops and mint jelly. He goes, that's moss. It's not mint jelly. I ate them anyways. Hopefully the drugs in the lamb will kill my...
The stale Cheez-Its washed it down.
There you go. A comment that means nothing to anybody unless they were at the fucking house. You really do have cancer of the Anyways, the lamb Barry Bonds. God help me. Anyways, the last lamb to test positive for performance-enhancing drugs was a guy that played at Oklahoma, and he did not test. I just said that, but I found a guy named Lamb and thought I'd throw it in there. What's coming out of the back of his helmet? Did somebody light his neck on fire? Are those dreads? What is that?
Chef Boyardee, I think.
It's what... I have no idea. Anyways. The lamb is currently being held at L.A. County Jail. 3 charges of being ripped. Held until all the drugs are flushed out of its system. After that, it'll be sent to slaughter and taken to the market. So he still gets the death penalty? He didn't do it. Some 4-H kid. Why are you going to kill the little lamb? Clarice, do you feel your nipples tingling? Do you hear the screaming of the lambs? Everything's crooked, even lamb competition. I can't take it anymore. How about this broad? She's a comedian, Allie Ward. She put a tweet up. How can I get these plates from Macy's banned in all 50 states? Look at the plates. It says skinny jeans in the middle. In other words, that's how much food you should put on the plate. Do you get it? If you want to fit into your skinny jeans. And then you got another level of favorite jeans, which I don't understand. That's about 30 more lamb chops. And then you got mom jeans. Oh, my God. And that's just so, I guess it's sexist? Is that what she's upset about?
I think it's fat shaming.
It's fat shaming, whatever that is. Let me tell you, and I watch my 600-pound life, I laugh my balls off. When you're laying on a mattress so long that your skin starts to grow into the goddamn... That's true. I'm not making that up. And I'm sorry. I have a right to shame you. You're ashamed at yourself. Nick, that's horrible. That's bullying. Please. Please. But she's a comedian, this broad, which shows you what? She has no sense of humor. You know? So she's trying to get these out of Macy's. And, of course, Macy's apologized because it involves a broad. If that said skinny jeans, fucking XXL overalls, and then fat fucking dad, nobody would have a problem with those plates. Emeril Lagasse would be selling them on the fucking Food Network or whatever. Shoppers are. They kicked him off because he liked pussy. It's an all-gay network now. But I think I tweeted about it, didn't I? So I responded, how can I get my wife to wash those? And, oh, Christ, I'll be hung by my balls. So she's trying to get rid of those plates. And Macy's, of course, apologizes to an unknown chick. Allie Wood, good luck with your career, but can I just say this?
Will you shut up? Will you please shut up?
Stop your whining, please. How about this? This is in the UK. Politician pushing gender-neutral toilets charged with child sex crimes. And, of course, anybody who made that prediction when this controversy was going on a few years ago was obviously a homophobe and a bigot. And I'm not saying just because this one guy, but, this is what we were worried about. We have a picture of the guy. Holy shit, it's Ben Franklin from Worcestershire. Look at this guy. If I had to draw a pedophile, if I was in second grade, they said if they explained to me what a pedophile was and draw it, that's what I'd come up with. Fucking Ben Franklin. A penny saved is a penny earned that you can buy some rock candy for a 7-year-old. That was his big quote. A politician who pushed for the introduction of gender-neutral toilets shortly after his election has been charged with 9 counts of sexual touching of a child. And no, it's not Joe Biden. It's the Ben Franklin of fucking, I don't know, England.
Hey, little boy, you want some candy?
Counselor Smith resigned. Immediate effect in the light of allegations against him. He added that he completely rejects the spurious allegations, however, claiming he was only, in his quotes, removing myself from the party to ensure I can focus all my efforts on kids at the public pool. No, focus all my efforts on fighting to clear my name. And then we caught him on mic saying this, so I'm pretty sure his career's over.
I suck cock, and I love it. Yummy, 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 yummy.
Nevertheless, reporters suggest he intends to remain on the council, allowing him to continue receiving a reported 6,378 euros in basic allowance. That's enough to buy 3 vans and 200 pounds of candy corn and a trench coat. London fog, of course. The 30-year-old claimed tackling the issues. Listen to this. This is what he claims he's working on. Could he have picked a worse one? 30-year-old, he claimed tackling the issue of potholes, which is just code for assholes. Ordering bollards to be installed, whatever that is. Being a very proud advocate of the local LGBT community as career. Those are his career highlights. And I'm guessing the people in the LGBTQ hate this. You know what I mean? Because people do say, oh, if he's gay, that makes him a pet, which isn't the case. Not my experience. I walked around in a Speedo forever in a gay bar. Nobody even looked at me. It's because I have this patch of hair above my tailbone. It's fucking scare anybody away. Anyways, but that's what he says. That's what's important to him, and I don't.
He's lying.
I have a solution. What else did he say? Oh, he said, this is who I am, a person and community activist. He said, insisting that the allegations made against my character are nothing more than damaging lies. Sorry, man. I'd like to give you the benefit of the doubt. You know, pedophiles and pedophilia has the highest recidivism rate, meaning when they go back and they come back out, and they're looking for all kinds of solutions, injections to sterilize them, you know, a nice tomahawk right to the pubic bone, thrown from 40 feet away. I think I have the solution so these guys won't do this again. This will stop you from looking at Boy Scouts. Take that! Ah, my bag! My filthy... Look at people looking at that. So they, you know, people are... And again, I'm not saying just because this guy was involved in getting gender-neutral bathrooms, but eventually I think you're going to see more of this. But he could be innocent, folks. But Jesus, just the haircut alone, guilty! That guy's creeping me out. We got a super chat. Go ahead, Rich.
We got a few for you. BustNut33 said, God bless you, Nick. Make comedy great again and help America reattach its testicles.
You know what? I like the way he put that. America to reattach its testicles. Right now they're floating, as they say, across the pond to England. And somebody's got to chase them down. And they're all salty. Go ahead.
Elaine Sabatino said, repeal the 19th. Thanks for calling out these cunts.
Repeal the what?
19th Amendment.
Which is what, Rich?
I assumed it was women's right to vote.
Oh, Jesus. I can't say that. I wouldn't say that at all. Just the suburban women that live outside of Philly and the ones in Massachusetts and the Northeast. Revoke their licenses to drive.
And then Bandit848 said, did Stelter grow out his hair? The Ben Franklin guy.
That's exactly... Good call, brother. That's who I see, Stelter from CNN. You know who he is? He's always, he was interviewed. You guys should Google. Glenn Beck did an interview with him, and Glenn walked off about 3 minutes into it. Stelter is just a big girl working for a propaganda network. That's who he looks like, that creepy bastard. I used to do a bit about Something about you should never have your reading glasses on when you're watching porn. It's on my Raw Nerve special, I think. I look like a perverted Ben Franklin. Also, I needed one of those pens with a feather in it to tickle my elbow. Real clever shit. Anyways, I'm going to save this for tomorrow. You guys, again, and I know you probably saw it over the weekend, you guys heard about this Erica Thomas? She's a black female, what's her political, she's a lawmaker.
She's in the Georgia House.
The Georgia House, also known as the Waffle House. What? Gilligan? Anyways, she got into it with a white guy. I'm so cynical that I think it was all a setup. The guy's he went off on her in a supermarket at Publix. I want to tease this for tomorrow. We'll start with this. I think it's a setup. The guy's a never Trumper. He's a Democrat. He's Cuban. That's how cynical I am. I might be wrong there. But my point being is this is national news because an older white guy got into it verbally with a black woman. And she went on her Twitter crying and all the idiots, all you dumb motherfuckers on Twitter who immediately have this knee-jerk politically correct reaction to take her side. When my point, I'll get to it tomorrow. But it made me sick to my stomach. It could only happen in 2019. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. We had our best month subscriber-wise, and we're not even done with July. So, and don't forget to go to nickdip.com. I think August 10th, I'm going to be Newtown Theater, Newtown, Pennsylvania. I won't read the dates again. Or maybe I will. They're right here. Fuck it. Yeah. And Friday and Saturday, August 16th and 17th, Helium Comedy Club in Philly. Thursday, October 10th, Levity Live, Nyack, New York. Friday, November 15th, the Cortland Repertory Theater, Cortland, New York. Saturday, November 16th, Comedy Works, Saratoga Springs, New York. New Year's Eve, Tarrytown Music Hall in Tarrytown, New York. And then in 2020, Friday, January 24th, Ridgefield Playhouse, Ridgefield, Connecticut. And Saturday, February 15th, at Kelsey Theater, Lake Park, Florida. Go to nickdip.com. We'll be adding dates, probably some more, even before these are up, hopefully. And also cameo.com. Go to cameo.com. I did a couple this weekend. I'll send a personal video message roasting one of your friends or enemies or saying happy birthday. I'll be nice. I'll be mean. Whatever you want. Go to cameo.com. Click on my profile. Fill out the information. I want to thank again the great Tommy Sotomayor, who's doing some heavy lifting out there. We appreciate him being a guest. Remember, folks, you guys think it, I'll say it. You're very welcome. We'll see you on patreon.com tomorrow. Take care, everybody.